Is this now recording? Recording started. Sweet. I mean, sweat.
Do you want to count us in?
Yeah. I'll just. We're already recording, so I'm going to cut this shit out.
Of course.
But yeah, I'll just say hello, and then we'll go from there.
I feel like I'm going to count us in. I feel like I want to do that.
Okay.
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 So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello. Welcome.
We're live.
Thing, that we're doing. We're not live. We're recording. It's the very first, the inaugural Super Game and Gab podcast.
Inaugural Super Game and Gab podcast.
Inaugural. Yeah, here we are, me and you. My name is Terry. I'm one half of this fabulous duo, and my partner in crime is Phil.
That's me. So Terry, very brief word about yourself.
I'm awesome. You?
Yeah, samesies.
Cool. Been playing games all my life. Playing games for the rest of my life, probably. I don't know. I mean, I can't tell the future or anything. I'm not psychic. However, I'm pretty good at predicting what I'm going to do with my own life. So, I'll be playing games forever, and I'll be loving them.
I think there's every chance if we make it to our 80s, we're going to be playing video games.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be sitting.
I'm not going to be playing Sudoku, I can tell you that much.
Well, what if there's VR Sudoku? At that point.
What, you mean like walking around a boring grid?
And then dropping a number 2 in one of the corners.
Yeah.
Hey.
And the other number 1. Whoa, boom!
So, that's me. In a few brief words. What are you about, Phil?
Well, I feel like you just sort of said you play games. But
that's all I need to know. That's all people care about. Let's be honest here. No one gives a shit. It's about our personal lives, and frankly, I don't want people creeping on me.
Nobody gives a fiddler's fig. Anyway, I am Phil. I also play video games. I have been playing video games since I was about 4 years old, starting off with the Sega Mega Drive, which actually, not really such a funny story, but started off basically as an argument between my mum and dad. My dad said I was too young to have one of these new fancy computer things, and my mum wasn't having any of it because she said all the kids have it. It's all over the adverts. She's getting me one, and here we are. Sonic the Hedgehog, bashed that cartridge in 1992, 93, whenever it was that I got it. I think it was my 4th Christmas, so yeah, since 92 probably. And I've been playing games ever since.
On occasion.
And I'd like to say I never look back, but I think that's such a weird phrase because I've, of course, looked back and reminisced on...
That's all you do. You only look back.
I only ever look back, never look forward. That's the thing to do.
Always walking backwards.
Anyway, I ramble. We are Terry and Phil, as you see us from left to right on the imagery. And we are Super Game and Gab, the video game podcast and bi-monthly stream, hopefully.
The 8th wonder of the world.
The 8th or 9th, I think there's already 8.
The 9th wonder of the world.
9th wonder of the world.
One of the wonders of the world, whatever number it is.
Something good in the world.
We are pretty wonderful.
Wonderful? We're solidly okay.
We are relatively okay in comparison to other okay people.
Correct.
So we were gonna. Well, I say we were going to. We already recorded our first podcast. So when I said this was the first, it's technically a lie because it's definitely a lie because we recorded an E3 reaction podcast to be our very first intro into this, and it didn't go so well. The audio was kind of all over the place, didn't sound great, and we messed up. A lot.
So we just scrapped the whole lot. We thought, what's the point of editing it out? We just need to start again. So we were going to use this section just purely as 20 minutes of chat about E3 and everything that happened, but I think we're just going to go straight in, quick summary of E3, and then sort of go into some other news. Sound fair?
Sure, that's about right. What are your give me 3 words on what you thought of E3. That's 1 word. That's 2 words. You've only got 1 left.
I have to be honest. I was fairly underwhelmed by E3 this year. I don't think it's got anything to do with the fact that it was slightly smaller and there wasn't really anything surprising. I quite liked the concept of Scorpio, and Microsoft sort of creating this convergence between machines now. But other than that, I was pretty underwhelmed. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, definitely up for that. I can't wait for that to come out. But yeah, nothing was particularly shocking. I think, if we'd really thought about it, we could have probably predicted that Kojima was going to make some sort of appearance somehow after the whole debacle with Konami. So, yeah, standout game for me is going to be Breath of the Wild. The footage looked incredible. It's way beyond what I thought it was going to be. There seems to be lots of physics mechanics. There's voice acting, for one, which is crazy. You don't get voice acting in Nintendo games. Metroid Prime only got away with it because it was made partially by Retro Studios. So, yeah, Breath of the Wild would be my 4 words. Was it 4 words you asked for? You asked for 3.
I asked for 3. Breath of the...
Yeah,
that's all you get.
What about you? What's the standout game in 3 words? Terry, go. It's difficult.
Now, okay.
It's difficult, isn't it?
I regret putting you on the spot now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Of the Wild.
Was that? Did you just beatbox?
Sure. That's a hidden talent.
Of the Wild.
I don't think the world's ready for that yet. Of the Wild, yeah. It did look really, really good. I mean, I could probably say I'm a little bit biased because I've been a massive fan of Zelda my whole life, and to sort of see the direction they're going with it now, they're really expanding it out. It still seems like it's hard to put your finger on it exactly, but it still seems like Zelda. You could still look at it and recognize it as Zelda. I mean, part of that's probably to do with Link being a recognizable character, and the enemies as well. But something about the environments and the art style and everything, it all feels very familiar. But at the same time, they're doing something very, very fresh with it, or very, very new for Zelda. This whole open world aspect, the fact that you've got armor and different weapons and they break, and you've got an inventory and. Like that. That's crazy to think about in a Zelda game. There's not something that's ever really been there. I mean, I suppose the closest that one might have got to that is Skyward Sword sort of started it kind of, because you could upgrade your items, but it's not really the same. They're set items and then you upgrade them to a higher level. And even then, item upgrades has been in past Zeldas as well. So. The step forward this is taking now is quite it's quite a big one, but even things like cutting down the grass and that doesn't give you hearts to heal you anymore. You have to eat food, cook food, and eat food, and learn recipes and things like that. There's a lot.
It's almost gone a bit Skyrim meets Minecraft with a Link plopped in as a mod, isn't it? Really?
It kind of, yeah. I mean, it's. I look at it and I sort of see almost borderline survival game.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like you have to. It's not like you've got a hunger meter or anything. You don't have to eat the food to survive that way. And technically, if you never got hit, you wouldn't have to eat food ever. But
just like in real life.
Just like in real life, if you don't ever get hurt, you never need to eat.
Standard.
That's real. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, but. So I think that's probably standout game for me. However, that said, there wasn't really a whole, as you said, it's a bit underwhelming, this E3. I mean, E3 in general is changing. Its very nature, because it's just becoming a bit outdated and ancient and unnecessary. When you've got things like Nintendo Directs regularly that give information straight to the fans. You know, they send up their emails. They say, we're doing this. Come along and watch on the internet, and you can just get all this information about new games that are coming out. And other companies are taking similar initiatives. You know, Sony hold their own events, and people aren't developers and publishers. They aren't waiting for these big once-a-year events anymore to announce big games.
Well, yeah, there's just no need, is there? No,
exactly. I mean, okay, it still sort of happens sometimes, but it's the world we live in now that this information is out there all the time. This used to be relevant when gaming magazines were such a big thing, because you had this big dump of information, and then you'd have the magazines would have a bumper issue after E3 with all this information, and you could spend a couple hours reading through it all, because there was just so much to take in. And I used to love that back in the day, but I got to say I prefer where we are now, because I prefer getting my information not quite drip fed, but I like. There's no need for all the secrecy, really. I mean, in some respects there is. You've got to understand, you know, like developers have got to protect their IPs and things like that, and stop people copying it before it's out. But at the same time, I mean, you look at Valve, for example, and they haven't. What the hell are they doing, like, gaming wise? You just don't know, because they don't tell you anything. And I think as much as I like Valve, as much as I love Valve games, and I'm probably going to buy any game they put out because I'm a sucker for it. They've sort of shifted their focus, but at the same time they say they're still developing games, but then they don't say anything about them.
Yeah, they're more of a platform development company now, aren't they?
Yeah, the fact that they don't say what's going on with games development, like hey, we've got this game, you know, we're developing this in the background. It's just unnecessary, I feel. But perhaps because they're not focusing on it, it's slightly different. But I mean, as I say, you've got developers constantly giving information out now and saying, hey, we've got this big thing coming out, or come and watch us on Twitch, we've got this stream going on where we're announcing the next expansion of Destiny, stuff like that. You know, that's I think is the future. And
the way we consume media is just changing anyway.
Absolutely.
You know, especially these so-called hashtag millennials that everyone goes on about. You know, there is almost they're the new hipster, and but there's a little bit of sort of the millennial attitude in all of us, in that we like to open our Facebook feed or whatever sort of news sites that we have available on our phone or tablet, and we like to learn something new every day, and we don't want to spend more than 5 minutes on it. It's just a fact of life nowadays. Twitter was invented for that reason. You know, you say everything in, 141 characters or something?
140 characters, yeah.
Exactly 140 characters. I added the one because, you know, I like to party. But yeah, so, I mean, in terms of shock factor, and I said before I sort of expected that Kojima might, well, I didn't actively expect, it just didn't shock me that he was there. What's Death Stranding actually about?
This is the weird thing, isn't it? I mean,
yeah,
I'm
Norman Reedus plus alien baby connected to mech umbilical cord with guys floating in the sky and oil and dead animals and shit.
Important.
It's almost like
naked Norman Reedus.
Naked Norman Reedus, very naked Norman Reedus, and he sort of seems to have this baby that he's keeping alive attached to him biomechanically, and which disappears obviously.
I think that the whole thing is he's just going around on just taking psychedelic drugs.
I think he's been on a stag do.
I think he's been on a massive bender.
I think that the baby is.
That's not even a baby. It's just, you know, it was a bag of rubbish.
I think the baby's him.
The baby's him.
And actually, if we look at ourselves, maybe the baby is all of us.
Profound. My mind is blown.
I don't know is the answer. It almost seems like Kojima had a dinner with H.R. Geiger, then threw up in his creative den and drew in the puke, and Death Stranding came out in this creative mass. For me, it's just it was so very it was so very Kojima, if you see what I mean. You know, when you watch a Sam Raimi film and you think, yeah, that's Raimi all over. He's literally just spewed all over this scene with his gore. It's very indicative of his work. And there was talks that it was a tech demo. Is there any validity? Any attraction to that?
I don't know, but I mean, perhaps. But I think there's definitely an aspect to that. Whatever's going on, you know, he wants to show off, like, hey, I've got my brand new studio and I've got my new engine.
And my best friend Norman Reedus.
Your best friend?
They're like best friends, aren't they?
Oh, his best friend. Sorry, I thought you were saying you were best friends with Norman Reedus. And I was just wondering why you hadn't informed me.
I'm going to tweet Norman Reedus later. I'm going to ask him to listen to the podcast.
No, you should tweet him and say, thanks for being my best friend. Thanks for always being there for me.
Thanks for being my best friend. If you want to find out and make sure that I'm not a complete weirdo what all this is about, then, you know, check out hashtag SGNG.
If Norman does listen to this, which I highly doubt, but if he does end up listening to this, then I mean, he's going to hear us talking about him being naked.
He is.
Well, let's there
was no Willy though, so it's fine. It was just bum naked.
Willy bum. Cool. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it anyway. Well, I'm looking forward to finding out more about it because it might end up being like a horror game, in which case I'm steering clear because I am terrible with horror games and I can't go near it.
Me too. You know me. I mean, I couldn't even play Resident Evil 1 all the way through.
I've been toying with the idea because
Nope.
Sony are having a big sale at the moment, like a big in Japan sale on PSN.
Don't do it, Terry. You won't play it.
The Resident Evil games are on there. Or, well, 0 and 1 and
no, can't do it.
6 and 5, but forget those.
I could play 4, but that's because it's an action game.
It's not a horror game. It's a bit jumpy, but it's not horror. But
yeah, I mean, I don't mind a jump scare. Don't get me wrong. You know, I can play games with a jump scare, and you know, I do like to have my sensibilities sort of tested. But I just can't be doing with the helplessness of Resident Evil. No amount of terrible voice acting is going to detract from the absolute horror that I feel every time I play Resident Evil.
This is the thing. I've played that game several times, never very far. I've watched other people play it more than I've played it myself.
Same, and do you know what? I mean, maybe I was a Twitch fan before I knew Twitch existed. Maybe I invented Twitch by accident.
Maybe you did, and you've actually got a whole bunch of money.
Yeah. Maybe I said it out loud once when I was at the shops, and then Mr. Twitch, the guy who invented Twitch, or
Mr. John Twitch.
No, I think it was Mrs. Twitch. I like to think that woman had created it. But anyway,
Mrs. Daisy Twitch.
Mother Twitch.
Mother Twitch.
The Twitches. Anyway, so
you don't want to be called Mother Twitch.
They heard it and thought, what a great idea. This dude was sitting in his friend's bedroom with the curtains closed on a warm summer's day while all the normal kids played out, watching his friend play Resident Evil.
It was quite common for when
loads of other sad kids that do that. And, you know, don't worry, kids, because when you grow up, life does get better. It's fine.
Not really.
But well, actually, no, it doesn't. You just become more resilient.
You just become more numb to it. Mother Twitch.
Mother Twitch. And then she made this amazing platform, and now she took all the credit. So, anyway, I did used to sit there and watch. It did go really weird and quite rambly. Yeah, so I do like watching other people play video games, especially horror games. I watched I took it as a cinematic experience, and I watched the first hour of The Last of Us, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I felt
that's definitely a game you could get away with just watching. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to play, very fun to play. But it's definitely a game, along with Uncharted as well. You could sit there and watch it as like a 20-hour movie, and it's good.
I tell you a game that I couldn't sit and watch.
I tell you,
Metal Gear Solid 5. I sat at
There's no story in that.
Watching
in 5,
my friend play it.
Yeah.
It was horrifically boring. I just didn't even know what was going on. I think it was too much Japan for me in one sitting.
Well, really, it's definitely
lots of mecha going on. Just lots of mech lots of very moody, angry characters going on, and everything was very grey. It was all very moody and just a bit too much.
That is, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 5 is, I enjoyed that game, but the gameplay is fantastic. If you're playing the game, it's really, really fun. It works. The stealth mechanics are fantastic. In my opinion, I think it just works really well because it controls fantastically. But the story is incredibly weak, and that is very odd for a Metal Gear Solid game because you'd generally like the gameplay's always been a bit janky and not quite right, whereas the story is wacky as hell. But there's a lot of it, and it's been criticised at times for that as well because like Metal Gear Solid 4, you spent a lot of that game just watching cutscenes and some of them go on for a long while.
Yeah, for that I can't abide. I'd get bored after 10 minutes, to be honest.
But it's been criticised for this, but there's very little story in 5, and you have to, at some point, without spoiling too much, there are literally repeated missions in the sort of not quite second half of the game, but sort of latter part of the game. You just play all the missions with slightly different objectives, and it's such a weird. I mean, it's probably because that game got rushed out at the end because of the whole debacle with Kojima and Konami. But who knows? But it's fun to play. But I can't imagine it's very fun to watch.
No. So anyway, coming back to the present, a game that just sort of snuck out of nowhere after months of anticipation, Pokemon Go. What's going on?
Oh God! Oh, it's going to take over my life. I've been playing it.
People are
why.
People are already being warned to stay out of police stations. I must admit, I didn't click through to the article, but there was a Polygon article yesterday or today about people being warned to stay out of police stations in Australia because they were chasing Snorlaxes and stuff.
Oh.
I just think it's
that's incredible. I mean,
Pokemon Go is just typical Nintendo. We see your technology and we raise you this. Everybody go and play.
Have you played it yet?
I haven't played it because I've got an iPhone.
Oh, of course.
I do have Android devices dotted around the house, none of which I can find a flipping charger for. But I'm just sort of patiently waiting for it to come out on iPhone. It's the most bizarre situation. It's the most bizarre Nintendo release ever. I mean, I know that they're quite prone to spontaneously just at the end of a Nintendo Direct. Oh, yeah, did you like that footage we just showed? Boom, it's available at the end of this stream. What? And it's not even like a minor game either. It's like some Donkey Kong title or something, or some loved remake of an N64 classic that's been put onto the eShop. So we're used to that, but Pokemon Go is arguably the biggest news that's come out of the Nintendo camp for a very long time. Obviously, we know about NX. Or we don't know about NX. We know that we don't know about it, at least. Pokemon Go, we know exactly what it is. It's augmented reality gaming, such that they couldn't achieve realistically with the 3DS or the Wii U. It's literally open world, as in the world, planet Earth. I'm just gutted that Tim Peake's not still in space because he could have been playing some Pokemon Go.
He could have caught Deoxys out there, or Deoxys, or however you pronounce his goddamn name.
Or like Clefairies and stuff.
Clefairies from the moon. Actually, I caught a Jigglypuff earlier.
Did you?
I did, yeah. It's not quite Clefairy, but
Did it put you to sleep?
It did not. It did not put me to sleep, as far as I know. It's such a weird game. Thing is,
weird good or
no? Yeah, I mean,
like Nintendo weird good.
I don't know. Not even no. It's well, okay. Basically, put it this way: you start with a game. It starts off sort of how you'd expect any Pokemon game to start. Really, there's a professor there talking to you about the world of Pokemon. Mm-hmm. He's a very attractive professor, by the way. He's quite the looker.
Buffed in.
Yeah. Buffed in.
Is he trying to get with your mum?
No.
Not like your real
you
mum.
have no mum.
You have no mum.
No, in fact, you have no family or relative. In fact, you're the only person existing in the world. It's what it looks like when you play the game, anyway.
Are you?
No, this is the thing. So
Oh.
you're not you. No, you are. You create a trainer.
Okay.
There's very limited customization. You can you can change their clothes and their skin color and their hair color and their hat color. It's basically that's all it is.
I get why they did that, because people would definitely be taking dick pics.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, there's. I don't know. Perhaps they'll introduce more customization for the train, more outfits or something, or perhaps that's something you can unlock. I don't know. I haven't got far into the game yet.
I kind of feel like they were concentrating on the most important element, which was catching Pokemons.
Yeah, definitely.
In the actual wild, in the Congo, neck deep in malaria water, or whatever is in the water in the Congo, leeches and stuff. Malaria, I realise now after saying it, is tragically spread through mosquitoes. Whatever, something dangerous in the Congo, probably in the water. And you're there.
Abandon this line of thought, quick! It's going dark.
And then suddenly a Raichu appears, and you're like, shit, there's a Raichu in the Congo. I have to catch it.
Are you, mate? Raichu?
Sorry, guys.
The
I'm
Congo?
not. You're right.
Jesus Christ.
A Growlithe.
Yes, a Growlithe.
Definitely a Growlithe.
But so you see, so you create your trainer, you do the little customization thing, and then there's 3 starter Pokemon. There's in the Congo. There's Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and you pick one, you catch it. So you catch things, but you've either got. You can use your camera to do AR, so it shows up around you somewhere, and you've got to move your phone around to try and find it. Or you can turn the AR off and it just have like a grassy background, and that's it, which is handy when you are actually on the move.
Does it still use the accelerometer in the phone?
Yeah.
Just the grassy background, so you do still look around.
Oh no, sorry, no. On that, no.
Boring.
It's just still. But
mate, I'm doing it IRL, mate. I ain't doing no grassy backgrounds.
Well, I thought it'd be the same, but when you're on the move, it's a little bit tricky because sometimes the little buggers hide behind stuff, so you have to move things out of the way, like old ladies and small children. To get to your Pikachu, you know. You're just pushing them out of the way, and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?" Oh, get out of the way! I need to climb.
I can definitely envision someone in the local county mall just drop kicking an 80-year-old woman to get to a rare Pokemon.
I hadn't. Were you following me earlier? I hadn't told you I'd done that yet.
It's going to be on the news, Terry.
Oh God. It's fine. It's understandable, you know.
I'm just waiting for the first Pokemon Go Street Fight, where people. Do you get like one Pokemon per area? Like, say there's a rare Pokemon.
No. You get.
I mean, like, say there's 2 of you with Pokemon Go and you stood next to each other.
No. I see. I've tested this as well. I've tested that with a friend at work who's got it. We were walking on together. We both saw a Rasta in the same position. So I don't actually know if that was a coincidence or not, because
maybe it's GPS.
Well, it might be specifically this stuff is appearing at this time, but there's also a little icon you can tap which shows you what's nearby you, and we were having different things show up, so I don't know if that's what that's about. But this Rasta showed up, I caught it, and he could still see it, and he could still then attempt to catch it, so it didn't get rid of it for him. But it seemed to show up in the same place for both of us. It's a little bit unclear. This is the weird thing, because you jump into the game, and then you customize your trainer, you catch your starter Pokemon, and that's it. It tells you nothing. It's like, there you go.
Get on with it. Go and Pokemon, mate. You know how to Pokemon.
I mean, the thing is, it doesn't even say that much. It just suddenly you're in the game, and you're like, what do I do? what do I do now? And then, you've got to walk around, and there'll be Pokemon near you, and then you tap on them to try and catch them, and you chuck balls at their face. Pretty standard.
Standard weekend, mate.
So, yeah, you sort of you figure out as you go along. As I say, this mate of mine at work, we've both been trying to figure out different aspects of it. If every Pokemon you find has a CP number attached to it, which I think is combat points or something, or something similar like that. Something similar.
Yeah.
And
Don't like it. Change.
Essentially, that means so they don't have a level, but that's kind of like their level. That's how strong they are. But their weight is also a factor somehow.
I can feel in-app purchases coming on somehow.
No, there are in-app purchases. Don't get me wrong. But it's very weird. You've got the Pokemon sometimes have different moves as well. I think they only have 2 each. I haven't come across a Pokemon that has more than 2 so far.
Okay.
When you catch a Pokemon, you get some Stardust, I think it is.
Okay.
And you also get some candy that's specific to that species.
Right.
But that not just like that particular Pokemon, but like that whole line. So a Pidgey, for example, it'd be Pidgey candy, but it's also for Pidgeotto and Pidgeot. And the candy and the Stardust together are used to power up the Pokemon. And the candy, once you collect a bunch of them, is used to evolve them. You need quite a bit, so you need to catch. You get the candy from catching repeat Pokemon. So for when you catch a Pokemon, you'll get candy for them. If you have duplicates, you can also click a transfer button, which will send them to the professor, and you can't access them again. It's not like a box in the handheld games or anything. But they're gone, and you'll get 1 candy, or perhaps more for a stronger Pokemon. I don't know. Back from the professor. So then you can use that to continue to power up your stronger one, or whichever one you chose not to send back. And it's very weird. There's a lot of systems in play. There's a lot of mechanics, but it doesn't explain any of them. It gives you a few tips. There's like if you open up the menu, there's a tips thing that gives you some info, but still not very much. So at the moment, I don't know if perhaps it's in early stages and they're planning to add more information on how to actually do stuff, but it's not. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not user friendly, because it's pretty simple to just figure out and go for. But there's all the little things that it's not quite clear. Like when you catch a Pokemon, when you go to throw a ball, a white circle appears around them and a green circle, and the green circle gets smaller. And if you get it in the green circle, you get like a nice or excellent or something. And I think maybe that increases your chance to catch them or does something. It's very, very unclear. But it's strangely compelling. You're just walking around. I found myself today when I left work. I was looking on my phone. I saw that there were some Pokemon down a road I don't normally walk along, but I could go down there if I wanted to get to the train.
You actually went down the road, didn't you?
I went down that road. I went, well, let's go and see what's down here. So I went a different route to normal. I went down this road, and I went and caught a couple of Pokemon down there, and I felt immensely satisfied by
the game literally altered your behaviour.
It literally did, and I didn't think it was perhaps going to do that, and I was sort of like, nah, that's only going to happen to... Like,
I'm not going to get stupid. I'm not going to get caught up in this mass hysteria. I just want in the face.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, the crazy thing is, there's already been stories of
Get off my Ditto!
There's already been stories of there was a kid who went into a bad neighborhood apparently and got mugged for his phone whilst he was playing Pokemon Go because he's just walking around with his phone.
Well, see, this is the problem, isn't it? Exercise common sense, people. Disclaimer, people. Anyone who's listening, exercise common sense. If you've got your phone out and you're waving it around like a madman or woman, and an opportunist sees it and they nick it, it's not Pokemon Go's fault, is it?
Yeah. I mean, maybe that Weedle isn't worth it.
Come on, Terry, Weedle's always worth it.
Yeah, always go out of your way.
No, it's not. It's not. What's the message to send out? Not worth your safety, ever. Nothing's ever worth your personal safety.
When I was at the train station earlier, there was a Pokemon on the tracks, and I had to go onto the tracks to get him. I mean, that's normal, right? That's fine.
No, that's not a good idea.
Turn out to only be another Pidgey, but you never know.
Pokemon Go's in its early stages quite clearly, but good. So I'm like I say, I find it really strange how it just sort of appeared. I know you got the APK and you're supposed to only be able to get it in Australia right now, so obviously it is a test bed. But there's just seems to be no news as to when it's out on iPhone. If you're listening, please put it in the comments section. I'd love to hear how I can get to it. I mean, it'll probably just be available tomorrow when I wake up. Boom. Pokemon.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think it'll be there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be already, but they've just run into a few snags. I think they said it was coming out at a certain time, like yesterday or whatever it was, and they just ended up missing that for whatever reason. But yeah, it'll probably be out soon. Then you can give it a go.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
The Twitter sphere will go crazy. Anyway,
so moving on. Let's have a quick chat about what we've been playing recently. Phil, what have you been delving into?
I have not been playing so much recently, actually. Sadly, I'm going through a pretty horrible breakup with my PC that I've had
for this podcast.
It's just on its last legs, really. So I haven't been playing much in terms of PC games. I have been playing a few hours recently. Plants vs Zombies 2. Been putting in a few hours onto that. And there's an absolute gem of a game called Bitmite Blitz, which I suggest anyone who's a fan of endless runner games, if you've got 5 minutes to kill, and you love a bit of chiptunes and pixel art, definitely play this game. I'm hoping to be playing a game called Song of Tyrim quite soon, which seems like a game that takes quite a lot of inspiration from Wind Waker, both visually and mechanically, with the addition of physics and mechanics. But yeah, so looking forward to that. And Minecraft Nintendo Edition dropped the other day, and I'm really interested to play that. And I never do this, and Terry, you know this, but I hate DLC with a passion. DLCs for the sake of DLC. I bought a full game. Oh well, if you pay $14.99, you can play these maps that everyone else is playing in the world, and they're not playing the standard maps of the game, a la Call of Duty. Great. So I've got to pay £50 for the game and another $14.99 for some bloody maps that I don't really want to play. I just want to play the actual game I've bought. Anyway, coming back to the point, Minecraft Nintendo Edition. It's definitely got my attention because of all the Mario skins. I definitely want to be playing that and seeing if it's like a bizarre Lego-y open world Mario, for sure.
Cool.
What about you, Terry? What have you been playing?
Well, as we know, I've been playing a fair bit of Pokemon Go when I've been on the move, enjoying that. I've also been playing more at the World of Warcraft Legion beta, which I've been in for a while, for quite a while actually, pretty much since it launched. And I'm really enjoying that. I've played WoW since it released, on and off, and I'm massively looking forward to the next expansion because there's a lot of things that are really compelling. There's a lot of individual class flavor and stuff that they're sort of reintroducing into the game. They're making classes feel different. They'd got to a point where everything was becoming too similar, and they're differentiating it all now again, which is great because it was becoming a problem. It was becoming a bit dull, and particularly the last expansion was very much like that. And it had an issue where basically there wasn't a whole lot of reason to leave your garrison, which was essentially it's like this instance, this phased area, for those that don't know, in one of the newer zones that released in the last expansion, that you could send followers out on missions, which is basically like a Facebook game or an app, and you could have a bank there, you could have an inn, you could have all these different things, and there was not usually really a reason to leave there unless you were going on dungeons and raids, so it felt very much like a solo game. Whereas the new expansion, they've got a similar idea to the garrisons, except this time it's class order halls, so it's not just you, it's loads of people who are the same class as you, and they've got campaigns, so you feel much more attached to your class in Legion. And it's really fun. What I've played so far is really, really enjoyable. I've tried to avoid going. I haven't leveled anything to max intentionally, like to level 110, because I'm saving that for the full release. You know, I don't want to just go through all this content right now. So I've been testing a lot of the earlier stuff, testing out how the different class specs have changed, particularly the ones on main. It's really fun. I'm looking forward to it coming out, and it's not too long now. It comes out next month, August the 30th. But other than that,
I'm just looking. I just googled World of Warcraft original release date, and I can't believe that it was November the 23rd, 2004.
Yeah, it's 11 years.
I don't think of this new century as or anything that's been released in this new century as inverted commas old in particular. But really, if you look back, I mean, we're in 2016. We're 16 years into the new millennium, even, and way back in 2004 was the release of World of Warcraft. I find that
I know it's crazy. The year before that, Wind Waker was released.
Wow. Don't do that.
Wow, exactly. Wow, literally.
Literally, wow. Don't do that to me.
But yeah, other than that, the Legion beta,
12 years ago.
I have a slight confession, Phil.
Okay.
So we said that there was
I'm not
a
a priest, but confess to me.
We said that there was a game that we'd quite like to play and perhaps stream.
No.
I've in fact.
You didn't buy it.
I did.
Oh.
It's another Blizzard game. I went out and I bought Overwatch. I caved in to the hype. Now the thing is,
I'm actually really relieved. I thought you were going to say Alien, and I'm not going to play that.
Oh no, not that. That's a whole different kind of.
No.
No, I went out and bought Overwatch. I've got the PS4 version at the moment, because I was holding off to see what was going on with your game PC, but that doesn't seem to be on the horizon right now. So
it's an unstarter at the moment.
Yeah, so
purely funds.
Funds related.
Anyone listening right now who would like to go fund me, wink, wink, on some platform that might be related to that name? No, I'm joking.
We are. I'm
not selling underwear.
Just want to put this out there. We are both willing to sell out.
We're definitely willing to sell out. The one thing I'm not going to sell is my used underwear. That's not going to happen.
I will sell my used underwear, and I'll sell Phil's used underwear. I have no quarrels with this.
I'm going to make sure it's cleaned and that he doesn't.
Nope. No. Don't clean it. People like that.
Don't clean it.
Don't clean it. But yeah, I've been playing Overwatch, and it's really fun. It's so fun. I grabbed it on PS4 because there's a couple of mates I can play it with on there. Eventually, when you get your gaming PC up and running, I'll probably be an idiot and rebuy it on PC, because I would prefer it on there. This is the thing, I prefer the control style. So we can play together on there, Pat. But at the moment, I'm playing through on PS4, and I'm loving it. I'm not very high ranked or anything yet. I was hoping that there was some cross-platform play, perhaps, so I could still get it on PC and play with the guys on PS4. But Blizzard have quite rightly, I think, said, no, we're not going to do cross-platform playing that way because we think the PC players will have too much of an advantage, and that's fair enough. I think that makes sense.
Especially if you've paid £75 for a Razer mouse. with a numpad on it.
Yeah.
Compared to just a lowly PS4 controller. Don't get me wrong, I love the design of the PS4 controller. I'm glad they didn't do anything crazy like attempt to do another boomerang or anything weird like with the PS3. But it's a fairly lightweight, definitely not pro gaming piece of kit, is it? It's not like the Xbox Elite controller.
Yeah. I mean, it's great fun, and I think I would enjoy it more on PC. But for now, I'm quite happy on PS4. So I've got a couple of mates I'm playing it with. We all got it at the same time, and we're really enjoying it.
Whoa! You have friends other than me? This is not cool.
I say friends. I mean people I paid.
Unacceptable. Oh well, that's fine. You can pay anyone you want.
Good.
Yeah. What's going on with the hardware market, Terry? It's all kicking off, man. There's like a mini console war.
Sure.
Because graphics cards are basically the size of consoles now.
They are pretty hefty.
They're pretty hefty. I'm looking at my 2 gig graphics card. I think it's 2 gigs, 6950 or something. It takes up most of my full tower. I've got a Thermaltake gaming tower, and I actually had to rip part of it out to get the bugger in. But GTX 1070 and 1080 got released. They have now released their little brother, the 1060, which is Radeon's Radeon RX 480's biggest competition. But the Radeon RX 480 retails at something like $230, and it outperforms the GTX 960 and 970 SI or whatever it is. It's supposed to be quite a good card, and I'm really excited because I don't want to pay £500 for a graphics card. I could buy a fairly decent PC for that. I know there's going to be people rolling their eyes at that, whilst fondly looking on at their £1,500 gaming PC. Not in weight, as in pounds sterling, for all my
and
Americans out there, and weight. When you're looking at your liquid-cooled £2,000 machine with your SLI'd 1080 graphics cards and your Skylake i7 processor and 32 gig of RAM, think about me with my old AMD Athlon 4200 Plus. Anyway,
nobody's going to be thinking of you.
No one's going to be thinking of me. What do you think of the new? Obviously, there's always been budget range graphics cards, but this seems to be a new sort of era of budget range graphics cards with mid to high range spec. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think that's great. Get more people into the PC gaming market would be fantastic. PC gaming it's not really an entry level thing at the moment. Whereas users can go out and buy a console and that's it. That's all they need to do. They just go and plug it in at home and it's done.
Although having said that, World of Warcraft.
Yeah, but that's an 11-year-old game.
Yeah, but you can play it on anything. That's what's great about it.
It's true.
That's what's great. I'm surprised you can't play it on mobile phones yet. I mean, you kind of can. You can sort of stream it, can't you?
Honestly, someone could probably mod something and get it running. However, the reason people haven't is because it's an MMO and there's issues with that. I imagine. Someone could probably just run.
There is actually
some kind of sort of local private server and just sort of say, hey, I'm running around and things are working. But
there's actually a WoW MMO for iOS.
I know. Yeah, I've played it. I'm not going to name it because I don't think it's very good and I don't want to give it any attention.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got really good reviews.
Yeah,
it's for the same one.
It's I think we are because it's.
I think it's just people excited to be able to play a WoW type game on the.
Yeah, honestly, I think so.
Forgetting its misgivings.
Yeah, absolutely. I've played it before, and it's very basic, and it's the trouble is I don't like playing big games like that on phones anyway because I hate touch controls for the most part for games like that. If a game's designed around the touch controls, it can work a bit better. But that sort of thing where you've got the sort of 3D movement and things,
especially when you've got a million macro keys set up.
Absolutely, I just don't think it's worth it. So I didn't get much enjoyment out of that game at all. I tried to give it a good old go because a friend of mine was really into it and was like, yeah, come and play this with me, it'll be great. And I was just like, I don't want to be honest, because anytime the issue as well is anytime I'm really going to be sitting down with a game like that, I'm going to be at home, and in which case I may as well just play WoW. Because maybe I'll be somewhere else where I'm sitting down, but then I feel like to really get the most out of a game like that, you'd have to play it on a tablet device, which means you've got to have. I have got a tablet with an iPad with a SIM, but I just don't feel. It just seems like not the type of game to be playing on the go. It's the type of game you need to sit down and plug some hours into. And if I'm doing that at home, generally I'm not going to play games on my iPad at home, really.
No, you may as well be on a PC.
Exactly, may as well just be on the PC.
So would you buy a cheaper mid-range graphics card?
Yeah,
Let's save your extra pennies for sort of the GTX 1070s and 1080s of the world.
Well, this is the thing. I've got a pretty decent card in my PC at the moment anyway, but if I was sort of if I had my old PC, which is actually, I say old PC, it's like that was like 6 years ago now, but if I had that one still, for example, and I was trying to upgrade it a bit. A mid-range budget card would have been great at the time. There were kind of some around at the time, but I mean, it's not generally. If you wanted any kind of decent performance, you'd have to spend a bit of dough, and I think more options is great, and getting more, allowing more people easier access into the PC gaming market, into like Steam and GOG and all these places with these great games, and not just great current games, but great older games as well, that are like GOG, for example, just constantly bringing back classics and saving them from oblivion and losing that history. You know,
I was trying to play Black and White the other day. Couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh, I love that game. That game was fantastic.
Great game. Games like that just. Also, there was a casino management sim. It was basically like The Sims, but for casinos. It was great, or like theme park or something, but just casinos. It was just a bit more. It wasn't interesting. For some reason, I got addicted to it for a while. You know, it's things like that. They get lost, but they don't on Steam and Origin and GOG. You know, it's going to be on one of those somewhere. It's just a case of digging it out and remembering my password, because I haven't been on GOG in ages. But yeah, I'm excited about the future of PC gaming, because I think there's a little bit of convergence coming in, especially with Project Scorpio. You know, Sony for a while have been allowing Steam to work with PS4 streaming. There just seems to be a console convergence going on. Obviously, Valve created the Steam Machines controller.
Yeah.
So I think it's coming slightly closer together, and there's going to be more sort of incremental releases rather than just one big named console. I think these services will still exist, especially Sony and Microsoft's online services. But 20 years down the line, will they have a big flashy console every 5-10 years? I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's the way things are going.
No, I think it's going to be more PC based. I think Nintendo, who have doggedly stuck to their guns of just gaming experiences, have finally got onto the mobile market. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think we're going to have to wrap this up now, aren't we? And sort of look forward to the next cast, where we will be introducing our first of many features, the 30-second post-hype review. And the concept of that, Terry, go.
So basically, we will give the other guy, one of us will give the other guy a game to review, but the review has to be done in 30 seconds, and it won't be a current game. It will be a game released previously that perhaps was a big deal when it was released. And now we go out and we review it, and we've got to do it quickly, and we've got a timer of 30 seconds, and just have to give your thoughts quickly, and just after all the hype has died down.
Exactly
and
that.
People aren't talking about it all the time now.
Exactly that, because I think people get caught up with the media. One respected journalist might make a comment about it, and that suddenly becomes the buzzword of, you know, the flavour of the week almost. About I don't know, for example, loading times on Mass Effect was a major issue. Someone mentioned that, and suddenly people were noticing that they were in lifts all the time, and that was the loading sequence. So post-hype review, 30-second reviews, talking about games that have been and gone. I mean, I was going to say Skyrim would have been a good one, but that's getting a remaster.
People are talking about it again.
Kick off again. So all the people who weren't 16, who are now 16 and able to play it, they're all going to be kicking off, because I'm sure that nobody under the age of 16 played it, because that would be wrong.
People stick to the rules.
People stick to the rules. ESRB ratings, they're important, guys, for a reason. Okay.
But yeah, that's one of our features planned. We've got other features planned. Details will be forthcoming.
Yep.
We've got to figure out what they are first.
Yep.
So that's us. That's me and him.
Super Gamer Gab.
Super Game Ungab.
Yeah, we're gonna keep on the Twitter. We're gonna try and ramp up the communications.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get on Twitch. Okay, good.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and we hope that you will tune into the next one. And
please tune in to the next one. It's going to get better and better. There's going to be less waffle. There's going to be more content. There's going to be more...
Even more waffle.
Chat. There's going to be less waffle.
Okay, less waffle. Okay, that's about it. Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
That's bye from me. I'm Terry.
And I'm Phil. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye.